never paid any heed to the ancient prophecies. Like fools, we clung to the old hatreds. And fought as we had for generations. Until the day the sky rained fire, and the new enemy came among us. We stand now upon the brink of destruction, for the reign of chaos has come at last.
The sands of time have run out, son of Duratan. The cries of war echo upon the winds. The remnants of the past scar the land. Which is besieged once again by conflict. Heroes arise to challenge fate and lead their brethren to battle. As mortal armies rush blindly towards their doom, the burning shadow comes to consume us all. You must rally the Horde and lead your people to their destinies. Seek me out.
What kind of nightmare was that?
It It was not a nightmare, young war chief, but a vision. Follow me, and I will reveal what your future holds.
I don't know what this is all about, but I'll play along. Let's get on with it.
Indeed, what Thrall said. After 5 minutes of cutscenes, let's get on with it. Welcome to Let's Play Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos. Warcraft 3 was the last RTS in the Warcraft series before, well, World of Warcraft took over. It's a pretty standard RTS, though it had some new innovations for the time. But enough of that, let's move into the camp and get our first units.
Loktar, my warriors.
We are yours to command, War Chief.
Prepare yourselves. I sense a knoll ahead.
Since this is a tutorial level, it's pretty basic. We're not going to be doing much other than get unit, kill enemy.
This was only a scout, but the knoll's camp lies just ahead.
This part of the tutorial is meant to introduce us to the attack move command, which kind of forces your units to fan out and attack a bunch of different units instead of focusing. It's actually really useful when you outnumber them, but a lot of times it's better to just focus. That yellow flash of light introduces us to one of the more unique mechanics, as an RTS at least. Some of your units are heroes and can level up. Thrall, of course, being the war chief of the Horde, is a hero, and he just got the chain lightning ability.
For honor. War Chief, we've discovered a group of Murloc raiders in the nearby river.
Of course, immediately after getting our new ability, they give us a bunch of enemies to test it on. It's probably pretty apparent by now that this is kind of an RPG-RTS hybrid. It was actually way more RPG in the alpha stage, but we'll get to that in another episode when we have more time to talk about that stuff. One of the more RPG elements is that you can get items for your heroes, like the mana potion that Murloc just dropped. Each hero has 6 inventory slots, but there's no real sense of equipment. You can have, like, 6 helmets and it will work just fine. Now we're about to complete an incredibly important map objective. Yes, killing that deer was completely necessary.
Be wary, my warriors. Don't let nightfall dull your senses.
But really, Warcraft 3 has a pretty standard day-night cycle. Outside of some items and abilities, it's just night for so many minutes, day for so many minutes. It mostly just affects things like unit visibility. It's not a huge deal.
An ogre. We'd have a fierce battle on our hands if the beast weren't sleeping.
No, we didn't really have to kill the ogre. I just kind of wanted to. I guess I'm bloodthirsty. Speaking of bloodthirstiness, you're probably not too fazed by the orcs because World of Warcraft exists, but this is a pretty big departure from how they are portrayed in Warcraft 2. There is, of course, a reason for that.
Dargolem. Watch yourselves, my brethren. Those creatures do not sleep at night.
Yeah, not sleeping at night is really, like, the most minor attribute of them. Whether a mob is sleeping or not generally isn't relevant. I decided to use my mana potion there, not that it matters that we're wasting items because this is a tutorial campaign, just to show off that constructs are immune to magic, which is way more significant than them not sleeping at night. But anyway, the orcs are so different because this is set after a huge time skip after Warcraft 2. There was actually supposed to be this whole adventure game that got scrapped because it was bad, revolving around Thrall and a bunch of other things that aren't really known. Right now we're getting our first real item on Thrall, which is a Ring of Protection +1. It increases the armor by, well, 1, which increases the damage reduction of our armor. When we get more units, we'll get more into, like, armor types and attack types. The damage reduction is on all incoming damage. Some types will do extra damage to certain units, and some types will do reduced damage to certain units, but generally that's the baseline. Right now Thrall has 22% incoming damage reduction.
Forest trolls. I still can't believe they were ever a part of the Horde.
And I'm sure no trolls will ever be in the Horde again. Ever. This is probably the hardest fight of the tutorial map, which isn't really saying much, but it does throw a big enemy at you and an enemy with a crowd control ability. You can see that we actually almost lose our grunt there. You're going to see a hint in a second that tomes, when picked up, will go in our inventory and disappear when used. That's not an error, that was the case when the game was released. It got changed when Frozen Throne came out and got back propagated into Warcraft 3, and they just never changed the tutorial to accommodate it. It was actually a really nice change. It used to be a pain to use a lot of tomes in some custom maps. But anyway, let's talk to the invincible bird that is also a person and move to the next map.
Greetings, son of Duratan. I knew you'd find your way.
It was you I saw in the vision. Who are you? How do you know me?
I know many things, young war chief, about you and your people. My identity at this time is unimportant. What is important is that you rally your people and leave these shores immediately.
Leave? What's this all about, human?
Human? I left my humanity behind long ago. I am something different now. Know that I have seen the future and beheld the great burning shadow that is coming to consume this world. You sense it as well, don't you?
The demons are returning.
Yes, and only by leading your people across the sea to the distant lands of Kalimdor will you have a chance to stand against them.
But how could we...
I will answer all of your questions in time, young war chief. For now, rally your warriors and prepare to leave this land. We will speak again.
None of this makes sense. But the spirits tell me that I should trust him. It's been 3 days and this prophet has yet to show himself. I hope I'm not making a huge mistake by trusting you.
War Chief, the clans are assembling as you ordered, but it will take them some time to reach us.
Then we must prepare this camp immediately. I want my warriors to have food and proper lodgings when they arrive.
Yes, War Chief.
Warrior, has there been any word from Grom Hellscream? He and the Warsong clan were supposed to have been here by now.
No, War Chief. We haven't heard from Hellscream in some time.
Damn it, Grom. Where the hell are you?
Something need doing?
Yes, please go to the gold mine and make me mad cash. Now we're getting into the base building aspects of the RTS game, which are pretty standard for the genre. You have a couple of resources and use them to build units and buildings. The first basic resource is gold, which is what we're gathering now with our peon. Gold is probably the primary resource. You use it for more things than you do wood. You get it by just sending units into a mine and they get gold for you. It changes between races, but peons will walk back and forth between the gold mine and the Great Hall. When the Great Hall is this close to the gold mine, the optimal number of peons to have in it is 5. In my infinite wisdom, I actually forget to put the 5th peon in, which is a great sign for things to come given this is the easiest mission we're going to do. It's a tutorial, so it never really ends up mattering, but it goes a lot slower than it could because, well, we're not getting income as fast as we could. I'll see you guys in a second when we actually start doing something with our income. Well, it looks like we actually need to house our orcs, which, well, they can sleep on the ground for all I care, but if the game demands it, then it demands it. I don't want to get too much into orc mechanics until we get into the actual orc campaign rather than the tutorial campaign. But burrows, or the houses, are just their method of getting food, and food is nothing more and nothing less than unit cap. I'm not entirely sure what I'm actually trying to do here. I think I'm just trying to get a lay of the land for when we actually have to go there. I do farsight into their base mainly because on one of my test recordings, I actually managed to find where we're supposed to go, but I just got a random field this time, so it was kind of pointless. Now that we're building the war mill, it's probably time to talk about lumber. For all races but one, lumber is a finite resource that you get by, well, obviously chopping down trees. Because of the way it works, it means that as you get more lumber, your peons have to travel farther and farther, so structures like war mills are meant to shorten the distance they have to travel. In the orc's case, it also acts as a main upgrade building, so it's good to build one even if you're not building a lot of lumber-heavy units or buildings. Lumber and gold aren't really any easier or harder to get than each other, but I do notice that early game you tend to be lumber-starved and late game you tend to be gold-starved, but it's entirely possible that's because I'm just terrible at this game. Don't expect pro esports play from me. Anyway, I've discussed everything I really want to discuss. You won't really be missing much when I cut to when we actually have our 5 grunts.
You orcs are in violation of the Alliance Internment Act. We've already captured one of your leaders. If you surrender now, we'll spare your lives.
Warchief, they say they've captured one of our leaders. Maybe they're referring to Grom.
I hope not. But if they have captured Hellscream, I'll make them regret it. Loktar Ogar! Come, my warriors! We must drive the humans back!
As you can see, I'm already moving to where the humans are coming. It's almost like I've played this game before or something. If you look in the bottom left corner at the idle worker button, you'll see it actually unassigned a bunch of my peons for some odd reason. I didn't do that. I looked through the footage and everything. I've never seen that kind of bug happen in a cutscene before, but I guess it can. With our hero and 5 grunts out, it should be relatively easy to take down a few footmen. So let's take them out, go across the bridge, and rescue Grom.
Let's get on with it.
The wretched humans have been destroyed.
Now we're finally going into enemy territory and fighting units that aren't just random monsters. You can see that their towers don't attack us like ours attacked theirs. That's because they have scout towers. Humans can upgrade them into guard towers, and we'll actually see that later, but for right now they just have stupid vision units.
And then left-click on the desired structure.
Normally I spend a bunch of time meticulously destroying every building, but I'll spare you guys for the LP. I don't really need to do that. It just amuses me for some reason. We do need to kill that sheep, though. It's very important we kill that sheep. We're about to see some neutral units crop up. Not like creeps. Right now we're bashing down a gate, which is completely neutral. Nobody can build gates. They're just kind of there to, well, wall you off. And a lot of times they're actually used to block a line of sight for AI patterns and stuff. Now that we're in the camp, let's actually kill what we're supposed to instead of random farm animals. You can see there's a cage up there that's actually triggered. When we kill all the units, we'll start getting our own units. It's just so that we ball up, and I guess the tutorial mission isn't too hard. Sometimes you'll see me pull a grunt out in combat for a split second like I did there. This is because enemy units usually disengage melee units that run away, so you can use it to save units at low health or to spread the damage around your army. It's not necessary, but it's really useful later on. They gave us our first caster unit, a shaman. Like I said, I don't really want to go too much into specifics on orcs right now before we actually get to the orc campaign. But shaman are just, they do basic magic damage. They have, for us right now, an ability called Purge, which is completely useless because it removes buffs, and footmen do not have buffs. Neither do riflemen. You'll see in the upper right corner we went into something called low upkeep. This is really my least favorite mechanic in Warcraft 3. As you get above certain food limits, you'll get a penalty on your gold income. And I think it's to prevent like snowballing and provide a catch-up mechanic for competitive play, but it's really just annoying, and usually the detriment for going above upkeep doesn't outweigh the benefit of having more units, except in really, really specific cases like base defense missions. You can see I'm grouping my melee units and my casters into 2 different armies. This is because Warcraft 3 has a 12-unit limit in the control group, which is really annoying, especially if you've played StarCraft 2 where they removed it.
Master? Warchief, we've found where they're holding Grom, but the area is protected by fortified guard towers.
Then destroy them! Hellscream must be freed!
Oh, now they're bringing out the fancy units with horses. Doesn't really matter, we completely overwhelm them and we're not gonna take much damage at all from this. Just beyond that gate is our objective and Grom. Now on the other side of that gate, as you'll see in a second, they have towers, which are just like our towers. They upgraded them to actually fire on us, which is smart. I'm just gonna split up my army into a few pieces and destroy them quickly. Aw, they did get one of our grunts though. I'm sure he'll be remembered and missed as the sole orc hero who died in this entire campaign. We did say that shaman though, so you know, preserving the de facto oligarchy of the Horde and upholding the theocracy.
Let's get on with it. Grom, are you all right? I'm fine, little brother. Luckily, they only injured my pride. Great, because we're getting out of here now. We're leaving the human lands for good. Finally. Follow me. I have an idea. We can set sail on the humans' own ships. Perfect. But we'll need to wait for the rest of the Horde.
The Horde is assembled, War Chief. We await only your command.
Now, go, young thrall. Sail west to the lands of Kalimdor. It is there that you will find your destiny. It is there that your people's salvation will be assured.
Thank you for watching, and please join me next time when we help the humans fight the Scourge of Lordaeron.